why did I think that looked good? My face is round. It was awful. But yeah, at the time I thought I looked great, but...
Welcome to Off the Hanger, the fashion podcast where we delve deep into our guests' wardrobes, finding out their favourite fashion pieces and the stories behind them. This week we've got something a little bit different. Not one, but two fabulous guests. Founders of the secret linen store, sisters Molly and Harriet, are going to be sharing with us all the fabulous things from inside their wardrobes. I hope you enjoy. Good afternoon, ladies. It's very exciting to talk to you. This is going to be an incredibly fun episode because you are my first ever duo of guests.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Lovely to have you here. Now, I'm super excited to talk a little bit before we dive into your wardrobe about your brand, because you have an incredible linen brand, but it's also got a real focus on sustainability. And I wondered, does your fashion inspiration kind of creep in to the designs of your brand, or are they kept very separate?
Well, I'm going to answer that. I would say yes, and as much as I'm allowed, because I would say that our brand is our best-selling bed linen is a plain white duvet cover. So in terms of adding pattern and color and print and pattern, we've definitely got all of that in our range. We add color and we add pattern, but we have to be also commercial. And in the bedroom, I think we are not allowed to be quite as adventurous as we might be in our clothes. So yes, lots and lots of my personal style, but I'm also probably not our customer as well. So I have to remember that most of the time. But yes, I'm out and about looking at fashion and clothes all the time, and especially with regards to giving me ideas and inspiration. The interiors is normally about a year behind the high street, so it's really great to be inspired by what's happening on the high street, all of the color, and that normally comes through into interiors. So definitely there's a massive link, and anything that's made of fabric is my bag. So yeah, absolutely.
I love the idea of that crossover. And how long's your business been going?
11 years now. 11 years in November it will be. So yeah, it feels like forever. And we've been working in textiles for a really long time before that. So it's just 11, and we've been working together as well. So it's only the last 11 years that we've had the secret linen store.
That's incredible. And did you both love fashion as children? Or is this something that you kind of, was one of you into fashion and then the other one sort of got dragged / followed?
I would say that I'm the least fashionista of the two of us. I have my own sense of style, which is very, very different to Molly, which is interesting because we're sisters, but we certainly don't share the same taste in everything, and that's absolutely fine. We had a joke actually today on whether we should dress each other for the podcast. So I would say, yeah, Molly is probably the best person to answer that question. Yeah, I mean, I think I talked to my mom about this, that, you know, I can remember very, very clothes from really young age, and I was interested in, I can remember the pattern or the prints. I can remember wallpapers that we had in our nursery, or I can remember, I've just always had my eyes on pattern and fabric. And a pillowcase was my first true love. I had a pillowcase that I took with me everywhere. It came off my bed, it went with me everywhere I went. I've still got it now, and so I've always just liked different fabrics and textures and color and pattern. So in terms of fashion, yeah, definitely I've challenged myself when I started my A-levels, which is the first time in my life that I didn't have to wear a uniform, to wear something different every single day of the 2 years that I was on my doing my A-levels. I don't know if I actually achieved that, but yeah, I've always been really into fashion. You wanted to be a fashion designer. I did, and then changed your mind halfway through. I did. I absolutely did. I went to college and did an art foundation course. But I didn't like the people that were doing the fashion side. I liked the other gang. I wanted to be in a different gang, so I just kind of branched off into textiles, but I'm definitely I love fashion, I love clothes, but I'm also quite a bit of a lazy designer in that it was a bit too hard to make clothes, so I made squares and rectangles in bed linen instead.
But you still get to play with all the fun stuff. You get the prints and the colours and none of the awful kind of, boning and seaming and like trying to create silhouettes. I think I'm with you. I think the idea of a square seems a lot more straightforward.
Yeah, I'm normally drawn to the fabric in something, and then because I'm a textile person, I'll be looking at how it's made and constructed, rather than the actual cut and the fit of things. But yeah, I'm always on the hunt for the next thing. So
Now, what would you say is the oldest piece that you have in both of your wardrobes? And also, before we ask that, actually, a very crucial childhood question, because I am one of 3 girls and I am the youngest. So I never, ever got anything new. Everything was always a hand-me-down. You're nodding. You see, you know where I'm going with this.
yeah, I'm number 3.
You've always got the hand-me-downs. Now, was there a kind of piece that you lusted after for a long time? Because I remember in my oldest sister's wardrobe, she had a kind of a United Colours of Benetton school skirt. But it was the coolest thing because it was like United Colours of Benetton, and therefore that made it cool, even though it was just a plain school skirt. And oh my gosh, I waited years for her to grow out of this skirt before I could have it.
Well, for me as the younger, so Molly's the eldest, I'm number 3. There's 4 of us. Molly, I can remember Molly clipping around in her teenage years. I'm going to really embarrass you now. She used to wear sort of cropped off leggings and these white stiletto kind of slip-on shoes. And when she wasn't there, I used to go and take them out of her room and parade around. We had a mirror on the landing, a sort of double stairs in our house, and that was kind of the place to go and flounce around in whatever you were wearing. And I used to traipse up and down the stairs and pretty much probably almost break my neck. But I thought I was very cool wearing Molly's stilettos. That was my first heel I think I ever put on my foot. They didn't fit me either. They were too small for me, and I was still trying to get my feet in them. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So, what is the oldest thing that's currently in your wardrobes?
Do you want to answer that? Yes, because it didn't take me a second to think about that. I have a cardigan. It's not actually something I really wear out of the house, but it was a cardigan that belonged to my grandmother. And when she passed away, it was one of the things we all had what do we want to keep? And this cardigan, which really reminded me of my nana, and it was knitted, I think, by her. Did she knit it? She may well have knitted it. It was definitely homemade. It's just a cream kind of wide fit cardigan, which actually has become a lot more fashionable now than it probably would have been back in those days. It has a few stains where it gets worn as the sort of comfy clothes at home. So I very rarely wear it outside of the house now unless I'm just nipping to the shop. But it is my favourite thing. It's still super soft. It's just a wool knitted plain cardi, but I love it to bits, and it makes me think of my granny when I wear it.
It's like she's giving you a hug. I love that. I think that's such a lovely thing. And how about you? What was your oldest piece?
So my oldest thing in my wardrobe is a pair of jeans. So I expect I'm joined by every other woman in the world, still in pursuit of the pair of jeans, the perfect jeans. But I have a pair of jeans in my wardrobe that I bought when I was probably in a charity shop when I was probably, I would say, about 17 or 18, and they're quite high-waisted flares, and they don't fit me. And I have kept them because I have said ever since I bought them that I will fit into them one day. Molly, that might be like nearly 3 decades ago now. I can do them up, but I can't really move in them. So, but they are so cool. They're like a really old workwear denim, and they're flares, and they fit. And I'm really short, so and they're the right length. So I just couldn't leave them in the charity shop, so I had to buy them. And I've got a cupboard in my wardrobe which I've got far too many pairs of jeans in, and they are in there. And I try them on probably once every couple of weeks just to make sure that I'm can still get them on, but they're a bit tight, but they've been with me for a very long time, and I will probably always have them.
Or hand them down to your daughter.
Well, my daughter's much taller than me, so they fit her, but they're too short, and they're flares, so they don't work.
No.
But I think when I saw the question, I thought that's probably the oldest thing that I've got in my wardrobe currently, and it's still there. They are still there.
I love the dedication to this pair of jeans that you would try them on every couple of weeks just to see, like, are we there? Are we there? Are we right?
One day I will.
One day it'll happen, and you'll walk out the house and you'll be like, look at my jeans, everybody. Look at my jeans. What's the piece in your wardrobes that gets the most compliments when you wear it?
I've got, although I must say I got a lot of compliments on my dress today when I walked in the office, and everyone was a bit like, oh, you're wearing a dress. You don't normally wear a dress in the office. I've got a jumper that a friend of mine bought for me for my 40th birthday a few years ago. It's a very boring jumper, but it's luminous writing on the front that just says raving. And I seem to, every time I wear it, any kind of festival or any kind of big outdoor music event, which I do like to frequent, I always get people coming up to me and saying, I love your jumper. Where's it from? It's from a really cool little brand called Ella Loves, I think, or Lella Loves online. But it's not flashy, but it seems to get the most compliments. Yeah.
Sometimes the things
that's what it's
all
about.
I think it's really nice when you get an unexpected piece that brings all the compliments rather than something that's really obvious.
Yeah, not the beautiful stuff.
A surprising one. And how about you, Molly?
So I've got a jacket that I bought from Bobo Chose's a couple of years ago, and it's a feather-filled puffer jacket, and the sleeves unzip, which is absolutely brilliant. I'm not wearing it in the summer, but I wear it. I love it. I absolutely love it. So it becomes a gilet with the sleeves off. I've worn it skiing. I've worn it, and wear it. I walk a lot, and I wear it a lot. And I've had so many people actually stop me in the street and say, oh, I love your jacket. It's really colourful. It's got triangles of different colours, and it looks very retro, but it's only a few years old. I unfortunately have washed it and dyed the red has run into it has got like a cream section, so it's slightly gone a bit pink, but I still love it, and that is definitely the piece in my wardrobe that gets the most compliments. Bit random, but
no, it sounds great, and I love the variety. I love the difference between the two of you. I think it's really interesting having you both to see the real contrast between your wardrobes. Now, who of you spends the most money on fashion?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I do spend a bit too much. Now, probably too much money.
What would you say is the most expensive piece in your wardrobe?
Well, I know what it is. It's an Isabel Marant top that my other half bought me as a present, and it's definitely the most expensive thing that's in my wardrobe. There might be other things that are creeping towards it now, but at the time, I've had it for about 4 or 5 years. I still love it just as much today as I did when I got it. But at the time, still now, is definitely the most expensive piece in my wardrobe. I definitely spend more money on clothes in recent years, and I try not to buy fast fashion because I want things to last, and I want to be able to keep things. But yeah, for me, it's not necessarily about how much I'm spending. It's about making the right choices and things that are going to last a long time. So, and also I get really bored very quickly of clothes. So that's my biggest problem. I've got a wardrobe full of lovely things, but if I wear them too much, then I get bored. So I try and sort of work my way through and rotate things so that I don't have that happen. I'm kind of the opposite. So I love clothes and I love fashion, but I find shopping for clothes really, really difficult. And I don't know whether it's because I'm a Gemini, but I'm very indecisive in everything that I buy. And I'm often, when I'm buying a big purchase, like a non-fashion purchase, I tend to buy something slightly impulsive, and then I always have regret. So I think for me, although I don't shop fast fashion and I try and shop responsibly in terms of fashion, I'm always quite frightened of investing too much because I know I'll like it for like 2 weeks and then think, oh, I wish I hadn't bought that. I'm not entirely sure. So I have a real conundrum when it comes to clothes, and I don't know what it is. I just never quite know. One day my style might be very different to my style the next day. I don't have a particular style. I'm more about, I see something and I think, oh, that's amazing, and then I try it on and think, oh, maybe it's not amazing. So I think my wardrobe is, it gets filled up less frequently. And I do tend to hold on to things for quite a long time. Once I've found something that I like, I'm a bit like, okay, that's quite classic, but that can stay in my wardrobe for plenty of time.
But I think you're both setting such an incredible example there, because for somebody who doesn't like shopping but also changes their mind a lot, but also somebody who really does like shopping but then gets bored very easily, it would be very, very easy for you both to fall into the trap of fast fashion, of just going, right, well, then I'm just going to buy something super cheap because then I've got that turnaround. And if I get bored of it or I change my mind about it, then actually it doesn't matter, I can just get rid of it. But I love the fact that actually that's not who either of you are in your core. It's about that sustainability aspect and the fact that you're able to still shop and find things that you like, but that you're not just, millionaires spending a fortune on things willy-nilly. You're being really considered about it, is setting such an incredible example, because I think it's really difficult to kind of have that real love of fashion and not fall into that trap of going, well, I'm going to hop on every single micro trend that gets released and I'm just going to be the most, kind of fast fashion filled wardrobe going.
Yeah, absolutely. I like also to recycle. I definitely
I take some clothes,
and my mom. I swap clothes with my mum quite a bit. Again, we get bored, or we just swap things over. We both had a denim skirt, then she liked mine better, and I liked hers better, so we swapped. But I kind of would like mine back at some point. So I like the idea of that and using clothes. And as I said, my biggest problem is I just get bored, and especially even if I bought something that I absolutely love and I've only worn it like 3 or 4 times, especially if it's to a special occasion. I feel like
it's not special anymore.
It's not special, or I just get bored of wearing the same thing. So it's that's my biggest problem. But I've got pieces that are. I have actually got better at buying pieces that are have a bit more longevity in terms of they're plain or simple, and making sure that I've got those statement pieces. I'm also really bad for buying. If I find something I really like and it fits me, then I will buy it in lots of colours because if it's available, because I think that really suits me, that style fits me. I've got 3 pairs of the same shoes in different colours because they fit, they're comfortable, I like the way they look. So I think, well, I have to buy them in other colours so that I've got options.
See, which I would never do that. I mean, I'd find it hard to find the right shoes in the first place. But then I'd be like, why do I need 2 pairs of shoes in slightly different colours?
I've been known when I was pregnant to be in a meeting and to look down and I've got 2 shoes of the same shoe but in different colours on because couldn't see my feet. So I've always done it.
Oh, you see, I'm in your camp. I may have 12 pairs of the same shoe, which is terrible. But they have been accumulated all pre-loved because they're like expensive. So they've all come from eBay and Vinted, and I've hunted them out. But we're moving house, so I'm being very, very good. And there's been a shoe cull, and I've gone, realistically, how many of these identical shoes in different fabrics and colors do I actually need? So I've narrowed it down. I think there's at least half of them have gone onto the vintage.
Gosh.
I'm terrible, really, really terrible. And my husband's an enabler. It's entirely his own fault. Now, what is the newest piece that you've got in your wardrobes?
Oh gosh, I can't remember now.
My newest piece is a skirt that I bought only a couple of weeks ago. It's Girls of Dust, which is a brand that I've just discovered, that I really like. I got it from Couverture, and I've worn it loads, so that's really good, and it's really simple and plain, but it's really comfortable. And yeah, that's the newest piece in my wardrobe. So.
I've remembered mine. It's those jeans I bought when I was with you. I bought a pair of, sounds like the ones that are in Molly's wardrobe from when she was 17, high-waisted, dark denim wide leg jeans from Kings of Indigo, which are just really lovely, soft cotton. And they just seem to be just about the right fit. So yeah, it's a good purchase. I've worn them quite a lot.
Oh, fantastic. They sound great. Now, are you quite sentimental about the pieces in your wardrobe? Is there something you would consider to be your most sentimental piece?
I've got I'm very sentimental about clothes, but more I mean, if I find a piece that, well, all of my clothes, I love my wardrobe. It is it's a place where I go to. I love looking through it. I definitely have a relationship with my clothes, but I lost my suitcase when I was coming back from a Portugal trip. I can remember that was like I felt like someone had. It was awful. I felt so upset about the pieces in there. I rushed to eBay. I managed to buy some shoes. I did get my suitcase back, so I've now got double. But I've got a top, which is actually a pajama top, which is from Love Stories. But I've always worn it as an actual shirt. It's black and it's got pink stars on it. And I wore it when our cousin wasn't very well, and we lost her, unfortunately. But I wore it quite a lot around that time, and it just really reminds me of her. And I just absolutely love that top and love wearing it. And it was in that suitcase when I lost it, and I can just remember just being so upset because it was, it was an old piece and I wouldn't been able to replace it. So I love that. It's one of my favourite things in my wardrobe. I haven't worn it for a while, so I will get it out and wear it again soon. But yeah,
that's my biggest nightmare. Losing a suitcase is honestly, thank the Lord for the addition to our lives of air tags. So I can see my suitcase and I know where it is, because checking in luggage is like so anxiety inducing in me. I find it so stressful because you've taken such a long time to curate what you're going to take with you, what those outfits are going to be, what they're going to look like. You've envisaging it all in your mind, and when you get there and then to have it whipped away from you, I think is just stressful, very stressful. How about you?
Fortunately, mine was lost on my way home, so it was I was okay. It wasn't like I was somebody aware, but yeah, I know of friends who've lost their cases on the way up to holiday, and yeah, it would be up there with my worst nightmare.
Yeah, that'd be awful.
I don't know that I'm particularly sentimental about clothes, so I'm going to be really boring and say my wedding dress is probably the most sentimental thing in my wardrobe. It wasn't a huge investment. It was quite a basic wedding dress, but it's actually moved from my wardrobe to my landing in a bid that I might get rid of it because it takes up so much space in my wardrobe. But it's only moved from there to the landing, and that was about 6 months ago, and it's just draped over the banisters. And I think probably that's my way of saying maybe you shouldn't get rid of it. Maybe your daughter might want to wear it one day. So I shall hang on to it a bit longer.
Definitely.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
I think I've seen a lot of people put their wedding dress on a mannequin. I think that's such a lovely thing to do. So you should do that.
Yeah, maybe.
Have you tried it since?
A very beautiful mannequin.
Have you tried it on since?
Sorry?
Have you tried it on since?
Yes, it still fits.
That's so fabulous. Mine was a maternity dress because I was heavily pregnant at the time, so mine just wouldn't fit. I got rid of mine straight away because I was like, there's no chance of me wearing this again. What is the piece in your wardrobe that you would say most sums you up?
Ooh. I would say anything in my wardrobe that's leopard print.
Nice. I love that.
I love a bit of leopard print. I'm not very adventurous with color. I'd like to be that person, but again, going back to that indecisiveness, a lot of my wardrobe is black, white, beige. But my leopard print with lots of gold bling and maybe a little pop of color is kind of what I would say sums up my sense of style the most.
I would agree.
Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I am the opposite. I love color. like I like I like bright colours. I don't like black. I really don't wear black at all anymore. I used to wear it quite a bit, but I really don't. So I would say the piece that sums me up is a shirt that I was wearing actually recently in a photo shoot that we did here. It's again from Bobo Choices, and it's pink and it's got a scribble kind of flower pattern on it, and it's quite naive. It's very colourful, and it's lovely. It's soft. It's a gorgeous cotton, and so it's very me, but it's a reasonably new piece. I probably would change my answer to that every other week.
It is really difficult, isn't it? It's quite a tricky question, that one, because I do think we are different people every time we get dressed, and I think there's so few people that have a real signature style that they stick to. I think the rest of us are so much more chameleon-like.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what's so great about fashion. I've definitely got a different. I run a business. I don't. There's no dress code here, but I have my own dress code for work. I wear different clothes to work as I would to go to the supermarket or how I am at the weekend. So I like to dress each day for the occasion, even if there isn't an occasion. I plan my clothes and think about what I'm going to wear in advance. I stay away from home one night a week. I stay with Harriet, and I've got with me at least 3 outfits for 2 days because I don't know how I'm going to feel the next day. So it's important to me to have different options.
Now, I'm a bit of a disaster. There's no nice way of putting it. I always have wardrobe malfunctions and fashion faux pas. These things, they just happen to me. Does this happen to you, and would you like to join my club?
Yes, of course.
Your membership
There is no saying. I mean, certainly looking back to my younger years, there were some very serious fashion faux pas, usually around hair. I tend to get quite bored with my hair color and style, and although I now know what works and what doesn't work, I do remember trying to turn my bleach blonde hair into a rich plum color when I was probably in my late teens, and did it myself, I think, out of the box, and ended up with bright purple hair for about 6 months, because then I couldn't put any other color. Every time I put a color over it, it just didn't stick. So that was quite depressing. I think I wore a lot of headscarves in that era, they were actually quite cool at the time.
Yeah.
And I think also there was definitely a skirts over trousers moment, which I think, again, at the time probably was all right. But looking back now, I think, crikey, what was I thinking?
Oh, yeah, I did that. I wore a mini, I had an embroidered like mini skirt, which was tight, and I wore it over flared leggings from Warehouse. That was like my go-to outfit. I loved that outfit. So awful. Headscarf is going to be mine. Yeah, I went to Barcelona with my best friend on holiday, and I wore the whole holiday. So in all the photographs, I would say Dalmatian print headscarf. Kind of like that, like Little Bo Red Riding Hood style, but it was like black and white Dalmatian, and I had my fringe kind of coming out the front. And honestly, I look at the pictures and think, what on earth was I thinking, and why did I think that looked good? My face is round. It was awful. But yeah, at the time I thought I looked great, but dreadful.
Oh, well, you definitely qualify for the club. Your membership certificates and badges are on their way to you as we speak. Now, what are your favourite shoes? Now, you're quite a shoe lover because you've got multiple pairs in the same colour. So this I'm excited by, but I'm also really interested to find out about yours, Harriet.
Okay, so I am a lover of a brightly coloured trainer, which completely contradicts everything I just said. So I'll be in all black, but I will have the brightest colourful trainers on my feet. And I had a pair that I bought a couple of years ago. They're just Nike trainers, Nike waffle trainers, but they were like orange, electric blue and yellow or something. And actually, going back to one of your earlier questions, I used to get a lot of compliments about those as well. And I wore them into the ground until my toes were poking out at the end. And then the colour was discontinued. I just wanted to buy them again because I loved them so much and I couldn't. So I have replaced them with a couple of other options of equally bright and colourful trainers. But I'm definitely not, apart from a white Converse, I'm not a white trainer girl. I just think they just get filthy too quickly. So you won't often catch me in a pair of high heels. I will wear them on occasions, but I prefer to go for a chunkier heel these days that's slightly more comfortable than a spiky 4-inch heel that back in the day. But yeah, I think colourful trainers are my favourite shoe attire.
See, that's a perfect example of why you should buy 2 pairs of something you really
Yes.
love. And you've got one in the box for when they wear out.
Oh, yes, Mum.
I would so do
remember
that. I have done that. So I am. I'm the opposite. I love trainers, but I wear them for walking or Converse. I'm a white Converse, absolutely. I have white Converse high tops, white Converse, and I've just literally buy the same thing. If they ever discontinue that, I would be mortified. My favorite shoes will, again, it will change from week to week. So currently my favorite shoes are tomato red Birkenstock, which I've actually got on, which
that's spectacular.
I got them on eBay because they'd sold out in this was last summer, but today's the first time I've worn them this year, which is ridiculous because it's June, but I haven't put sandals on until now. But I love them, and I love Birkenstocks too. I've got many colours of the Boston Birkenstock, but I would say my tomato red Birkenstocks are my favourite shoes today.
Now, if you could have a dream fashion item, it doesn't have to be practical and you can have it irrespective of cost, what would you have?
I know exactly the answer, and it's actually, my husband will shake his head because it's not the kind of thing that I would normally aspire to have in my wardrobe because I'm quite basic. But I very much covet a vintage Chanel black padded, the old school handbag with the gold. Yeah, the Chanel handbag.
Really?
It's just the thing that I've always wanted one. So yeah, maybe one day. Keep saving. I look all the time, but the prices seem to be going up all the time because they're vintage rather than coming down.
They really hold their value, which is just devastating. I want there to be a Chanel crash so that I can just buy one really quickly and then the price can go back up again.
Yeah.
So I'm actually not really that bothered about designer labels. I've never have been. My jewelry is very cheap, and I've never spent a huge amount of money on a single item like handbag, and I probably wouldn't. But I right now, again, my answer to this will change all the time. I really want to find the ultimate quilted lightweight jacket, which obviously is quite a thing at the moment, but I can't find one that fits me because I'm quite narrow shouldered. They seem to be quite big. So right now I just want a really nice lightweight quilted jacket, but I can't find the one. So that's what I'm after.
Oh, well, it sounds like yours might be slightly more attainable. So, good luck with the fun.
Yeah.
I've been looking for a long time. I can't find one that's quite right. So any recommendations? I'd gratefully receive.
Yeah, it's super frustrating though when that happens, when you're just on the hunt for that kind of perfect thing and you just can't find it, yet the high street is full of them, or the shops are full of them.
Yeah.
And like, but why is there not one that works for me? Why can I not make this look great?
Absolutely. It's not there. I haven't found it yet, so I'll keep looking.
Keep hunting. I'm sure the universe will bring it to you. And to finish on, is there a piece of fashion advice that you would have given to your younger self?
Oh gosh,
I absolutely. I would have. Well, I've always wished that I didn't care as much as I do about fashion and how I look. So I would have probably said to my younger self, it doesn't matter as much as you think it does. And I've definitely, as I've got older, I've cared slightly less. But I would say, just be yourself and don't try and follow too many trends, and know what suits you.
Do you think it was, sorry, do you think it's that you cared what other people thought of you, or was it that you just held yourself to such a high standard?
I think both. I think I've always, being the way that the creative designer in me has always wanted for what I wear to express myself. So I've always questioned how I come across, or what I'm wearing and how important that is. So, but I've also seen it as a curse sometimes, because I just want to get up and go out.
It's interesting. I think so I'm the opposite. I'm the one that just wants to kind of blend into the background and not really stand out too much. But I would say it's probably a bit more, if you find something you love and it feels a bit dressy, just wear it anyway. Like, it doesn't, wear a dress to work, wear a high heel to the co-op, just if you've got something that makes you feel good when you wear it more often. And that's so many times, and I don't actually, heed that advice that well these days, but I'm getting a bit better at it. But there are so many things that I bought that I love that just sat there in my wardrobe waiting for the right occasion to wear it, and actually then it sort of wasn't fashionable anymore after 5 years of doing that. So I kind of wish I'd just worn things more when I loved them, and not just wearing the same thing every day.
That's a really good. I think that's a really good piece of advice. I would say that there's so many things that I've kept for best and not worn enough, and I think that's a really good piece of advice.
Yeah, I really don't think that we should be keeping things for best at all. I think it's a really old kind of notion, and actually, like, a bit morbid, but you could die tomorrow and all of those things are still just sitting there waiting to be worn because you never got round to wearing them. Just wear the clothes that make you happy. Who cares if you're overdressed? I'm perpetually overdressed. I honestly don't care. It makes me happy. And if somebody's got some wild opinion about how overdressed I am, that's more of a reflection on them. Because I think if I turn up to any sort of event and I'm wildly overdressed, which is quite likely, I just think, well, at least the person who's put that event on looks at me and thinks, oh, I'm really pleased that they put the effort in. They cared enough about the event that they were coming to that they put the effort in. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I was having a party and everybody just turned up in their joggers, I'd be like, oh, okay, guys, like, this is not the vibe. Like, I put loads of effort into organizing this thing and you just, like, have turned up in joggers. Like, but if they really turned up and they were all overdressed, I'd be like, okay, you're my people. Here we are. We're happy now.
I think that's really, I do, and again, I sometimes question if it's quite an old-fashioned thing, and I've definitely picked it up from our mum, is that there is a time and a place, and we don't, obviously now it's much more relaxed. We don't have a dress code at work. People can wear whatever they want, but I definitely feel like there are occasions and times where you do put on you do make yourself look a bit smarter, or you do dress up, and I feel like that's something we shouldn't lose.
Being well presented.
And I've always said you only get one chance to make a first impression. You never get a second chance to make a first impression, rather. And I always carry that with me. I think, right, if I'm meeting someone for the first time, they're always going to be remembering me for what I'm wearing today, what I look like today. So I think that, I think it's good, and and it's fun as well. It's one thing that we can do.
Exactly. We should be making it memorable. The amount of times I have met somebody and then I don't see them for a year, or I've met them like ages afterwards and they've gone, oh, I remember the thing that you were wearing. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's great that they remembered, because I was obviously wearing something daft, that they remembered the thing that I was wearing, and it made such an impression on them. That's basically what I'm just striving for, that, that I'm memorable because I was wearing something that's probably a bit over the top, but that's fine.
Well, you've certainly achieved that today.
Exactly.
Yeah. We'll always remember your lovely shirt. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh, it has been so fabulous chatting with you. If people want to find out more about your fabulous linens, where should they head to?
They can go to secretlinenstore.com and browse anything online. And we ship all over the UK.
Amazing.
Yeah. And we're always here as well. If anyone wants any help or style advice for their bedrooms, we have a phone number. So we love chatting to people. So the door's always open here, and we love making beds too, as well as dressing ourselves.
Well, I do think it's an extension of your own style personality, isn't it? I think your home is such a special place where you should get to express your personality as well. And I think it's fabulous that you've got such a wide range. Yes, I appreciate that, the white linen is probably the best seller, but to have that range and that choice, I think is really important. And also, I think people are really looking more towards sustainable fabrics, not just in the clothes that they wear, but in their homewares as well. So I think what you're doing is incredible.
Thank you.
Oh, lovely to chat with you. Have a great rest of your day.
And you, Emma.
Thanks,
you.
Emma. Nice to meet you. Bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please remember to share this episode with a friend.